Today is all about safety in your body and the importance of feeling secure in your body when it comes to fitness and health. And I'm going to share a little bit more about the nuances of what I mean by that, and then give you some support on what that looks like, what it doesn't look like, and what it looks like. So the most primal part, and if you've studied about humans or maybe done therapy or read books about the human body, you know this, but our most primal part of our bodies is around survival. And this is a good thing. Our bodies are designed to survive and thrive. You can think about animals in your life, even pets. And while I'm talking about this, they want to survive. So if there's a threat, they'll run away or they'll fight. Or if they're like my little baby Jayu, they'll freeze sometimes and get as small as possible. And I'm doing this recording next to two beautiful animals in my life, Leia and Jayu. But we often try to logic or brain our way through things that can only be expressed and met and understood through our nervous system, which is this part of our body, this intricate system that is designed to keep us alive and thriving. And we are human. And I think a lot in fitness, there's so much dehumanizing, so many areas, really, but we look at protocols, we think about longevity hacks, we try to tweak things so that we can figure out our health. And while that is important, we often miss out on our being human, our being messy, our being complex, our being these creatures with multiple systems in our bodies at play: social, environmental, mental, physical, emotional, existential, all these parts of that make us human. And I just want to acknowledge that right now, you as you are, with everything in your life, even that thing and even that thing and even this thing and even this thing, you are a beautiful whole human deserving of love. And your body is not some system that needs to be hacked. You're not a robot. If things were so simple, we wouldn't have these huge diet industries and fitness industries. We're complex human beings. So I just want to hold space and acknowledgement for everything that you are right now as you're listening to this. All the things that in your life that feel like problems related to your health or not to your health, everything that feels complex and messy, everything that feels clear and positive and easy, just everything that is in your life right now. I just want to acknowledge that. And notice what happens even in your body as you hear that. Your brain might scoff at it a little bit or think this is a cheesy podcast, I'm turning it off. Or maybe you felt a sense of relief, or maybe a sense of acceptance, a sense of calm. Just notice what happens in your body when I say that. No response is bad or good. And yes, with fitness, there's absolutely a physical side. We care about our heart, we care about our lungs, we care about our strength, our muscle mass, our organs operating well, our skin health. All of these things are valid. But more important to our overall health is having a nervous system, and there's nothing wrong with your nervous system just as it is. If you're feeling like there's something wrong with it, it's probably just doing its job the best it knows how. But important to overall health is understanding and allowing our nervous system to work more fully. So here's a misconception that we often have. And if you've ever learned about the nervous system, and all this is related to safety, by the way, and security, we often have this idea that we always want to be in a really calm, restful state, that we always want to be zen and I feel good in my nervous system. And while that is a good place to be, it feels nice, fluctuations are good. A part of your nervous system is responding to things that feel like threats. And being able to go up and down is healthy. That's actually healthy. If you think about nature, we are constantly contracting and relaxing, contracting and relaxing. That's our rhythm. And if you think about it, I don't have any studies or scientific backing. I just have this idea that if we think about quantum physics as well, we particles are not still, matter is not still, it's constantly in fluctuation and waves. That's something that we learned recently in science, that things are always in motion, sometimes slow, sometimes big, but it's just a natural rhythm of life, fluctuations. So we want to be able to have full capacity with our nervous systems to respond to threats when they're there in multiple ways, in accordance to the severity of the situation or the nature of the situation. And we also want to be able to regulate and be able to calm ourselves. But one is not worse than the other if the goal is survival, right? Because if there is a threat, we want to respond to it rightfully, appropriately. But what happens is we often continually feel in threat, even if there is not a threat. And that's when we stay in that high activation mode. And when we're not aware of what's happening in our bodies, we can stay in that high stress response. And yes, life is full of stressors, but we also want to be able to come down at different moments and not stay in that high activation state. So when we speak of high activation, you might think, oh, it's always this on high activation state. But high activation for our nervous system can also present as a freeze response. It's not just flight or fight. It can be a freeze where we shut way, 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 way down. And in that way, we're not necessarily in a safe place in our bodies, although it might appear that way on the outside. We're actually in that response beyond fight and flight, where your body's, your brain, your nervous system says, I can't attack this thing and win. And I don't have an option to run away from this threat. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to kind of play dead, like an animal. Like one time, my sisters and I, we always wanted a dog. We always wanted a pet when we were younger. And when we moved to Korea, when I was about 10 years old, my parents said, we can't get a dog, we can't get a big pet, but you can have hamsters. And those poor hamsters, I could tell you stories about those hamsters. Our first pair were called Salt and Pepper, and they died from heat exhaustion. We did not know how to take care of pets as well. But I remember one time a dog came to visit our house. A member of the church brought a dog from the country. I still remember her face. I don't remember her name. But the dog came into the room, into the house, and started sniffing the hamster. And for maybe about a day, we thought the hamster was dead. And we were scared. I think we shook it, which obviously didn't help. We shook the cage a little bit, and tapped the house, the hamster house, which definitely did not assuage the hamster's fears of there being a threat. uh, and we thought it was dead. And then all of a sudden it came to life. So that's a good example of that hamster. It's like, I can't run away. I definitely can't fight against this huge creature that's sniffing me. So I'm just going to play dead. And a lot of us, and I do it as well, and I've noticed myself the ways that I do it, we play dead. We go into this really low energy preservation state because we feel overwhelmed by life or stressors or things that feel like threats. So I just want to clarify that sometimes activation looks like normalcy, or it looks like being fine. You can be in this state for years, for decades, for days, for minutes. And having worked with people in group fitness and one-on-one, I've noticed that there are different activation presentation of nervous systems in workouts and exercise. I also see it with food, but I'm just going to focus on the exercise aspect. And I'm just going to share with you some things that I noticed about people who were in that fight or flight response. And I'm not going into super nuanced details. So, with the measure of generality that I'm going, take this generally. Okay. So a lot of people in the gym, and I often saw this, I will say, both in men and women, but the women that I notice are people who grew up as women and so socialized as women, presenting as women. I would see the more extreme flavors of this with them. And it would look like quick movements with exercises. There would be a nonstop energy with the exercise. So they were not comfortable with resting or taking full rests. You know, in workouts, rest is a really important variable that we can use in training, depending on what your goals are. There are 9 different variables for training, and rest is one of them. And so, yeah. And they were often, it might be 10 different variables, including rest, with time. They were always like chasing this feeling, this high of like, I need to get this, my heart rate up. I need to like feel like I really worked hard, or I need to sweat to feel like I did a good job. They would often get annoyed by distractions, anything that took them from this focused workout of needing to get it in would be unwelcome or sometimes despised. They were hyper vigilant, so they were always kind of like looking at what they were doing, really focused, and at the same time not really having a panoramic view of what was happening in the room or with other people in the room. It was like they were very focused on the numbers, so they would be, staring at the screen or staring at the numbers in front of them, or be like, how many reps did I do? Oh, I missed one. Oh, let me go back and do it. And this is really common. And I believe that we put a lot of this kind of energy into workouts because exercise is a thing that makes us feel good. And you can get a high from working out, but it's short lived. It's like your nervous system is trying to regulate by finding a calm that you would feel or a high you would feel after working out, but it's not enough to really calm your body down into that regulated state. So it's like a constant chase. And maybe you feel this way. Maybe you have felt this way. I know I can definitely remember what this felt like in my body. And one of the best things that I did to heal this and to feel more centered with exercise is not chasing intensity always with my workouts. And yeah, definitely I like an intense workout sometimes, and there's a place for that, and it's nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong with it, but they're being comfortable with lower intensity is a good sign if you're in this place. And then there were the low activation presenting, so maybe more in a freeze mode or more kind of like in that dormant state, like that hamster. And these nervous systems, I'll just call them the people who own these nervous systems, or the nervous systems of these beautiful humans, they often felt intimidated by exercise. So exercise felt like something that was daunting and big and scary. And oftentimes they would learn, oh, it's okay to exercise. This is a safe environment. But they might self identify as lazy, or I can't get myself to move. They might even seem more apathetic, or like they didn't care, kind of like this energy of slowness and dragging their feet. And in these people, my heart goes out because they often had negative experiences with exercise, or, and not always, but sometimes they saw themselves as not being athletic or not being fit, and so they didn't feel safe in that environment of working out. And most people who go to the gym or go to workout classes, they have some level of confidence that they can self identify as belonging in a space like that. So most of the people perhaps were not in the gym classes. A lot of people, maybe you relate to this. These are maybe the people who like start a gym membership and then they beat themselves up for not going as much as they should. And it's not because they're like busy, 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 stress, stress, stress. It's just like there's a resistance, like it almost feels like a heaviness in your body, like almost like you're drugged with a sedative, or like something pulling you down to the ground. Um, and this sometimes came in bodies that society wouldn't deem as worthy because of their size or their shape, which is so fucked up and stupid. But thus is the society we live in. So you might identify yourself in different times in your life, perhaps now, perhaps in the past, with these different types of activation. And in contrast, the people that I noticed had were more in touch with their, more regulated in their nervous systems. They were the ones who were quick to smile or just connect. It didn't have to be a smile, but they welcomed conversation and connection with other people. And that's a big sign of safety, when we feel like we can connect with other people, that I'm relaxed, I'm really hearing what this person is saying, I'm listening, I'm here as a human, I feel like I'm in my body. But if you ever feel this way of being activated with exercise or with food, I want you to know that it makes a lot of sense. And I want to share why. So I just want to take away the shame, because what is shame? What is this? Oh, I'm doing something wrong, or oh, I need to fix this. That's also a threat response. Your body is like, oh, what's wrong? I need to fix this, because if I don't, I'm not safe. Like something is wrong and I need to fix it. And that will kind of go into the tips and the solutions for safety in your body later. But food and exercise, and I want to include food here because hello, can be huge threats or appearing threats to our nervous system. Why? Or when body approval, when body approval and social acceptability feel necessary to our survival and connection. And we all have this to varying degrees. Like this statement, everyone's a little racist, everyone's a racist, unless we do a lot of work dismantling the subconscious and direct messages we grow up with. It's kind of like we all have this internalized system of beliefs in us just by living in the societies that we live in and from generations before. And this is not at all shaming our ancestors or our grandparents or parents, guardians. This is what has been passed on. So we feel when it comes to food, it feels like, okay, I need to eat the right foods in the right amounts at the right time. So, and if I don't, then I don't know if I'm safe. Or even a lot of wellness and diet culture. And while it might be valid, there is a lot of fear mongering about what foods are healthy, what foods are not healthy. And one of the signs of, regulation is being able to notice a possible threat or something that might not be great for your body, but not making choices based on fear. This is huge. Weight gain can be a survival threat in our society. So, in other words, if you are in a bigger body or if you gain weight, that is seen as shameful, that is seen as wrong, that is seen as less. And so, of course, you would prize being in a smaller body for connection and safety and approval, right? Hell, like, duh, of course you would want that. And then we have to go back to what do the facts say? And is it really bad for us, or is it just this societal messaging? And I think you know the answers if you listen to this podcast. Making sure you exercise enough, that's a big one. And we often hear like, you need to exercise, you need to exercise. And with our busy lives and the way that things are set up in our systems with screens and the internet and so many demands being placed on us, especially women, especially I would say mothers, and those, especially those in heterosexual relationships. There's a lot of pressure, and I think that's kind of a cheat code of being queer that I love, is that those rules that we've accepted as society don't equally apply, and so we're a little bit more free. It feels like we have quicker access to freedom to make our own rules, although you are free inherently. So making sure you exercise enough and feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough, I'm never doing enough, and that message on repeat is stressful. When our performance is tied to worth. So if you grew up doing sports or engaging in activities with movement, there could have been a lot of pressure to do it well, to do it quote unquote perfectly. You might tie how fast you can run to how valuable you are, or how much you exercise, or how much you can easily exercise to how good of a person you are. Um, and just like food, needing the feeling like you need to exercise so you're not out of shape or you don't gain weight, or so that you're strong. All of these can be perceived as threats in our body when body approval and acceptance feels necessary to survival and connection. And evidence shows that society shows that we equate size with health, but studies and research shows that health does not equal weight, and weight does not equal health. You can be in a smaller body and be unhealthy. You can be in a bigger body and be healthy, and vice versa. And that the shame, the stigma that we carry around being in a bigger body, or other people being in bigger bodies, is worse for our health than actually carrying more weight than a smaller size person. Okay? So, the most important thing, back to the premise of this episode title, the most important thing is to be secure and safe in your body. And that doesn't mean that you're always free of threat, because that would be you living in a bubble, maybe. And even then, you would have threats. But I want to share with you some key things, and I want to direct you towards doing more of this work. And it's the kind of work that's easy, hard. It does take undoing and rewiring mental patterns and establishing new ways of doing things, but it's so worth it. Like your life is worth pursuing joy. Your life is worth pursuing peace and freedom and experiencing that. Like you're so worthy of that. So why wouldn't you do that? Um, so just some, of course, this is not like comprehensive, but some things that are important to safety in your body. And I'm coming from this viewpoint of fitness and health. The first thing is unconditional acceptance. The belief and knowing that nothing can change your worthiness, nothing can add to it, and nothing can take away from it, just inherently. And this is the hope part of the 4-H method. The 4-H method is hope, happiness, habits, health. And we start with hope. And by hope, I mean this belief that you are worthy already and that you are powerful right now. Those two are foundational for deep and true lasting health. And you might even be like, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm worthy. Blah, blah, blah. Sure, Michelle. But really embodying this and just maybe giving yourself time to think about this. What would it be like if nothing I do or any way I look could change my worth one iota or one skosh? And that is the game changer right there. Then it becomes awareness, unconditional acceptance, awareness of what's happening in your body. And like I said in a previous episode, our nervous system speaks a different language than our brain. And we are so used to prizing our brain, our logic systems, getting things done over the value and the inherent humanness that we have. So awareness and slowing down to notice when you do feel activated or noticing the signs of what that looks like for your body. Noticing when you're feeling like you want to fight or when you want to run away or when you want to just become a hermit. Noticing what sensations, how your body come up when those are something you're experiencing, or how your body moves, what thoughts come up. Just being aware. Awareness is the greatest agent for change, Eckhart Tolle said. And then another thing with feeling safe in your body, and this can be one of the hardest things to do, and it can feel elusive. It did for me, and it's something that I've really curiously encountered over and over again until I understood it. But the idea of presence, I would be like, okay, be present, Michelle. Okay, be present. Just be here. And I was, without really knowing, I was so in my brain. But with practice, with things like meditation, I'm not sure if you can hear, but my dog is snoring right now. She's in deep REM sleep. And sometimes things like this can feel like interruptions, but I feel like it's just life. And what a beautiful thing that I can be next to this sweet doggy snoring and experiencing deep REM sleep. So if you hear her, that's what's happening. Presence. And that's what I mean. Like, I'm here with this doggy. I'm not just in my head doing this podcast. Like, I feel her ear, her soft ear. I can notice the hardness of the floor underneath me. And it's not like a good or bad non-binary thing where like you're good if you're present and you're bad if you're not. Like, that's more of that shaming thing where we need to just invite more unconditional acceptance. But it's just being able to be in the moment. And if you've never noticed what qualities someone who's really stressed or activated has, there's a lack of presence. It's like they're always thinking about the future or always thinking about the past. It's really challenging to be in the now. And I can completely relate to this. And I still do it. And I've done it for a lot of my life. And It's just something to practice, like coming back into the moment, coming back into your surroundings, coming back into your body. And that creates safety in your body. When you're not really under threat and you can see that you're not, and you're able to signal, hey, things are okay. When things are okay, that's healthy. That's safety and security. The last thing we have unconditional acceptance, awareness, presence, and the last thing, important thing to feel safe and secure in your body is connection. And that applies to, it's an extension of presence, because when you are present, you can be connected to yourself, you can be connected to your surroundings, and most beautifully, you can be connected to others as well. And a sign of a regulated nervous system is being able to reach out to support. It's being able to laugh, to have fun, to connect with other people. And I just did a video for a summit where the theme was making health easier, one simple shift at a time. And what I did for my 11-minute and 33-second or 22-second video were what it means to be healthy. And in the 4-H method, the last part of these concentric circles is health. And I define it into 3 words: empowerment, energy, and embodiment. And that embodiment is really just being present and connected with your body and the world that you live in and with others. And that is just by nature of embodiment being embodiment. It's such an antidote and a healer for trauma, for issues that we have around exercise and food, for the fearful parts of ourselves, for the parts that don't feel safe. And so I want to invite you, not in a flippity dippity way, but like I want to invite you, if you're listening to this and you're like, check, 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 damn, 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 wow, wow, wow. Check out the 4-H method. Hope, happiness, habits, health. It's an online space and container where we go through these 4 H's, and it's slow, it's gradual. There's not like an end date. There's not a goal that will determine whether you've completed or not. There's no physical goal that needs to be completed. It's an ongoing community with mainstay habits and ways to just support you in this way of healing your nervous system and having healthy relationship with movement, with food, with your body, with the world around you. It's not about looks, it's about life and having that joy, peace, and freedom that you are so entitled and capable of having. So check it out. go.mlroscoe.com/the 4-H method, 4-H method. The links are in the show notes. You can check out. If this was helpful for you, share it with someone, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. And you are worthy, you beautiful, complex, alive human being, you.